A couple of days ago, guys.
Two and a half.
Some 2.5 to be exact. Something was noticed with activity on a bridge wallet of ours that we were using. At first glance, it didn't seem like much, but later on, we realized that it was in the day. Yon was the first to notice it and was digging through and getting frantic about it. Like Queenie said, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We essentially were attacked. We had a zero transfer attack that hit our Ledger wallet. Um,
Not
eh,
ledger, bridge wallet.
so, sorry, forgive
That's
my
okay.
brain right now. The the bridging wallet housed the liquidity for Shiba Swap. Inherently giving access and compromising the wallets and allowing them full control over the liquidity in Shiba Swap. We have done our due diligence, and this is why it's taken us 2.5 days to come out, because we wanted to make sure we had all the information to be able to give to you guys. The notion of why this guy has not sold yet is because the liquidity is still currently locked for the upcoming 5 days. I want to get into actions that we have done. Right off the bat is, we've looked over everything else KTO, and everything has officially been secured in ways that it cannot be hurt. The unfortunate part about this wallet, it is physically 2 weeks old. We had every intention to get it fully secured. We made the steps to do so. However, the unlikely cause is that they got in before we could. It's a very intelligent attack. Those who can look at the bridge wallet and are definitely Etherscan savvy will see it. Our day-to-day transactions with this wallet are conversion and transfer into the Genosis. This is kind of how we function the operation for the taxes.
Yeah. And sorry, just to, I know there's been so many numbers and things thrown out lately. So just to clarify, the wallet isn't 2 weeks old, but it was created fresh, probably 2 weeks before we created the liquidity for Shiba Swap. So just to clarify, it's a very young wallet. It was not yet secured on a ledger when this attack occurred. So this wallet has only been alive since about March, really. Fortunately, it only had the liquidity for Shiba Swap, and again, as we said, it's locked on Team Finance for another 5 days. What this means, if you want to, go into that, Adi.
Yes. So understand this, that it's not your funds that are in trouble. You have your funds. The hit is directly to the company. Nothing that we can't recover from. It's unfortunate. It sucks. I mean, yes, it's pissed us off in several ways. We've all had our ups and downs, screaming moments about it. But we want you guys to know and give you that heads up that you are secure still. We've taken all the necessary steps. We still have guys currently looking into ways to potentially make whoever stole its life completely miserable. Whether or not that actually comes to fruition, we don't know yet. But there's several things that we have done. We are discussing options of buying things back. We've reached out to the wallet personally. Whether or not that's gonna bring some fruit our way, I doubt, but we would be fully prepared to buy that back. It's we have turned off the reflections to that wallet. The last thing we're gonna do is give them more fucking fuel. Something to note is, we understand the situation. We understand it might make you very uneasy. We also understand that, the fact if you wanted to sell, we're not going to scrutinize you for it. Where we're at right now is we are still building. We are a company who has secured the notion of utility. We're moving forward. We're making plans to minimize impacts on what this guy will potentially do. We don't know what he's going to do yet. In 5 days, this wallet will unlock. Our full notion is that he's going to dump it. And in saying that, understand if you are selling, and you feel uncomfortable, maybe you want to buy back in lower, wherever your head may be at this particular point, do not sell on ShibaSwap, because all we are doing, and I mean all we are doing, is putting more KTO into this guy's hands, and it is truly the last thing we want to do, right? Sorry, my brain is
No, it's okay.
starting.
I can take over from here just for a moment, but
Mhm.
yeah, just sort of reaffirming what Artie said. So and also what Jan has put in chat. The centralized exchange, it's fully funded. That hasn't changed. Fortunately, the project is in a sound enough position where we paid for this liquidity in the first place. So thank goodness it's not community funds that have been lost. It's not people providing liquidity, nothing like that. It was purely funded from the from the company. And we are in a position where we can basically repurchase these tokens from the market after what we assume will be an inevitable dump, and reform that liquidity pool secured on a ledger like the rest of the liquidity pools that we have, which is one upside. And again, we're doing this without damaging our current progress we've made in development. The funds for Tech Alchemy have already been allocated. They've already been secured. They're ready to go. So this would be outside of that. It's again, as I said, it's the making the best out of what is a shit situation. I can see Saint Roche. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Saint Roche, maybe. Or sorry, it was actually Atomsk. My apologies. It seems like securing the wallet would have been the first priority when it's associated with the company. I get you guys are moving forward to do so, but why wasn't it done faster? That is the oversight on our part that we just simply have to accept. We have to cop that on the chin. And as I said, the cost and the solution will be coming from the company. And again, that is more time and tokens not spent not paying the developers. So we've all been foregoing pay for the good of the project. And again, it means little probably to most of you in this situation. Like, it's all well and good, but the thing it comes down to is trust. Open, honest, secure. It's one of our core tenets. But the thing is, we couldn't in good conscience see that this 5-day period would end and the community would get dumped on. We don't have the right to withhold that information from you. And it's, you guys need to be able to make decisions with all available information. So yes, there will probably be panic sells in the lead up to this. That's just a reality, unfortunately. But as mentioned, we are committed to reforming that liquidity and also facilitating as much, buying activity afterwards, be it through, reducing tax to zero for a few days, whatever we need to do to recover the inevitable dump that we are foreseeing when this liquidity is unlocked in 5 days. So it is a little bit of a waiting game, but believe me when I say we've all spent the last 2.5 days investigating, brainstorming, kicking ourselves, and just being grateful that it was only this one liquidity pool, and that everybody still has the ability to buy and sell on Uniswap and Bitmart. Currently, Saberdux, the liquidity is valued, well, it's probably less now, but it was valued at around 60,000 US, which is no small amount for a project of this size. But again, it's happened. We accept that we had the oversight of not getting that ledger sorted soon enough. Yes, IQ, Uniswap liquidity is secured on a ledger. All our other liquidity, all of our other wallets, everything is secured. The Gnosis is safe. It was one bridging wallet that was compromised during its short lifespan of about 6 weeks. And again, it's still not acceptable. In hindsight, which is always 2020, we should have had the ledger ready to go and done it straight away when we were first setting it up. But it was still inbound when this occurred.
I mean, I can honestly go off any one of us. I mean, whether it's me, it's Yon, it's Mike, it's Cram. Any one of us can honestly sit here and make any excuse under the sun. And whether we were busy, whether we were building, we just didn't focus enough. but there's no excuse for it. We understand what we did. We understand that the security is kind of broken.
Or was.
But was broken, and for us, bringing this out now, as Queenie said, was the most responsible choice because we are always honest with you guys. In everything that we're doing, we have no intention of stopping. We're still building. Despite all this, 60K is not the end of the world. In the world of crypto, it's not even a ton of money. We will recover from that, and I have full faith in that. And we will still continue to build. And once we're there, this is when everyone will truly see what KTO is fully capable of. Just it's an expensive learning lesson, one that I personally, and I'm sure all the devs agree, will not ever let happen again. But again, I can't tell you guys what to do. I can't tell you how to feel, how to think. The only thing we can do is be as honest with you guys as possible and stand in front of you like men and say, we fucked up. Sorry, and women, forgive me, Queenie.
Fine.
Understand where we come from. We spent a very long stretch of KTO being nothing but men. So it is refreshing to have you here. I really appreciate you standing up in front of everybody with us. We know that you don't have to, and we do truly appreciate it. Let's be real here. Out of the best vocals, you have it. Versus all of us. And that's kind of where I stand, guys. And the other developers, if you guys, Mike, you want to say something, please interrupt me. Come on up. Because for me, you guys all know me. For those that don't, anyone can immediately explain to you that I am not here for my success. KTO does not belong to me. It belongs to all of us. It is the community's project. And the only thing I am up here doing is trying to make sure that it succeeds. And unfortunately, it was a costly expense to the business, and I do truly believe it will be very easy for us to recover from.
An expensive lesson in
Amen.
just because you think you're moving quickly, you're not moving quickly enough for crypto. And
Yeah.
as I said, we can only be grateful that we're in a position to recover using company funds without impacting you guys beyond price movement, and that no community funds were caught up. Like we are so fortunate that no one was providing liquidity to that pool, because it means that it is purely just that initial investment that we made with company funds. Again, of course, we would rather put this money towards further development, but as far as this situation can go, it's probably the best outcome we could have hoped for. Not putting the burden on you guys, not impacting our current commitments to paying Tech Alchemy, and yeah, like it really, like I said, an expensive lesson, one that we can't apologize more for the price impact on a project that's, for the people who've been around for a while, KTO has been through the ringer a number of times, which is why I know that we can survive. But we may have slipped up with the secure aspect, but we can always be open and honest. And as I said, we know that this may lead to panic selling, or even just people who want to reposition for the upcoming dip. We understand that, we expect that, but we can't in good conscience hold on to this information and act surprised when it dumps in 5 days, because that would go against everything that this project stands for. It would go against the morals that we have all come to expect from the project. And my God, does it just go to show that it doesn't matter how secure you think you are, a moment of complacency is all it takes. And all the more reason to build a top-tier secure centralized exchange worked on by cybersecurity experts, so that we can all feel safe. Yeah, but yeah.
I know that this is a pointless endeavor, right? And I know it's going to fall on deaf ears, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it now, is I don't know who the hacker is. I don't know if he even understands what he did, considering it was a very intelligent bot-driven attack.
Like a contract within a contract within a bot within a bot. Like this is a wide scale thing.
I mean, it was physically copying addresses that were very close to one another, which I truly didn't even think was possible. And we've had very, very strong-minded guys who are really good at this dig into it, and they're digging in still now. They have no intention to stop because, again, if they find a way to hurt this guy, they will. Um, where I'm at with this is that whoever the attacker may be, and this is where I'm going, you did not fucking break us. You did not even hurt us one bit. We've been through worse, to be honest with you. The only difference is this is a monetary thing. We have dug ourselves up from the trenches before, and we have every intention to do it again. And like I said, it's fallen on deaf ears. They may not even be here, but if they are, fuck off, right? I mean, what else can I say? Congratulations on your win. I hope you bury yourself with the money. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. And guys, we're not stopping. Like, this doesn't stop us. Whoever this may be, it's only made us stronger and smarter.
Yep. And like I said, it's something that we're committed to fixing, to minimizing the burden on the community as much as possible. I have put out a statement in announcements that is sort of just a succinct version for people who either can't hear this or have come in part way or just want a written statement to refer to. It sucks. It's a shit situation. It happened on April Fool's, so you can imagine how the team felt when they found out. I was hoping it was just a bad joke.
When Yon first told me this, right? Because I kind of played an April Fool's joke on him when we were doing things back and forth, and it was a little early. I physically thought he was playing a very elaborate joke on me. Like I thought it was straight up an April Fool's joke, and I was waiting for him to just tell me he was fucking lying. Unfortunately, he was not. But needless to say, that would honestly suck. I agree.
Yeah. But Shrugs is asking how many of us sold in the last 2.5 days knowing this. I haven't sold a single KTO in a long, long time, as far as I recall. I don't believe any of the developers have. I mean, you guys can see the wallets. I'm 99% sure. I mean, hell, Mike's like the top wallet. Sorry, Mike, doxing your wallet.
The only thing I physically sold was to cover expenses for KTO on the back end for business related stuff. Nothing major, nothing extreme. Outside of that, every bit of my KTO is still intact.
Yeah, I value KTO much higher than it is right now. I see no point in selling it. Again, I'm holding for the exchange. That's always been my motto, and I think it is for the rest of us. So how is what? So right. So I did say that we reacted immediately because I believe I'd have to go back and check, but in general, I believe Shrugs mentioned something along the lines of like, why did the phishing attacks just get ignored? They weren't. So if you look at the bridging wallet, there is a history of these weird spoofing phishing attacks, and like it's just weird activity, and it does happen on wallets. Like I said, this is a widespread attack. It wasn't ignored. We were absolutely looking into it. What occurred, and when I say we reacted immediately, was when this actual transfer of the compromised, when this transfer occurred in the compromised wallet, we immediately started investigating. Right now is the soonest that we've been able to actually, come together with a coherent message for you guys, because we could have told you straight away, but you guys would have had so many more questions than we had answers to. And, with to be fully transparent with you guys, as developers, the first thing you want to do is point fingers at each other, because that's, it's human nature. It's like, well, okay, only 2 of you guys had access to the wallet, so who was it? You know what I mean? You've got to dig, you've got to make sure you understand what happened, or at least to the point of explaining it. Don't forget, this is also a complex attack, and I'm not a Solidity expert. I can read Etherscan, sure, but this was challenging even to people who are familiar. It was putting together a plan of action, like how can we minimize the impact on the community? We need to do a risk assessment, figure out, like I said, were community tokens involved in this? Thankfully, no. So the last 2.5 days have been spent putting together this information so that we can have this conversation with you guys as soon as possible. And as I said, we are blessed to have the time period that we do before the unlock happens, because most people don't get that. Most people just wake up and their token's been dumped. But at least we can give you guys this information. You can make informed decisions as investors, which is your right. And I have confidence in the core members of this community. I have confidence in our holders. As I said, we've been through a lot of shit in this project, but it hasn't stopped us. We've still achieved our goal of fully funding the exchange. The beta will be under development, or the continued development of the exchange will be underway in 2 weeks, as said. Really all it is a net drain on funds that could have gone to development sooner. Well, now we're just going to have to reaccumulate them after we've reformed the liquidity pool. So I hope that answers your question, and I completely understand the doubts, but we'll accept complacency and our fault for not moving the liquidity onto the ledger sooner, but I can assure you we haven't been complacent when it comes to figuring this shit out and trying to get answers for you guys. This is, as I said, the soonest that we could get this information to you in a coherent way.
Yeah, the last thing we would have ever have done was approached you guys without having all of the information. And as we said before, this is the reason we're out here now. And the only reason we're able to do it is because of that liquidity lock and giving you that pre-information. We don't know what this guy's going to do. Again, I assume he's going to dump. Hell, I hope he dumps it so that we can recover faster and that he doesn't hold on to it. But we just aren't sure. The only thing we care about is that you understand what's going on.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, it's just, I put it in the statement, but I truly believe this when I say that it is firmly our belief that we do not have a right to withhold information from you. If we have information that affects your investment, we will share it with you, even if it is shit and makes us look incompetent, because that's what we're about. Openness, honesty. We are a member of the community just like you guys. And no, Zith, unfortunately, it's not possible to blacklist the wallet. So I did already ask this, but Johan explained it best. That blacklist functionality was only available at the launch of the project, which was to prevent those bots that come in and sweep up tokens. It's not something that we can just turn on.
Yeah, look at that as a good thing, because our contract would physically allow us to just mute you all from being able to do anything, and that's not the case. That was just a early function.
I think would have torn us a new one if they'd seen that in our our contract. No,
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
I was just going to say the most we can do is blacklist the wallet from receiving reflections, and that's it. Yeah, no, Atom's taxes on a contract-wide basis. We can't exercise that control on specific wallets. I know it's all things we've been racking our brains for. It's been like, okay, can we blacklist the wallet? No. Can we ask Team Finance to extend it? Just lock it up forever? No. Can ShibaSwap help us? No. That's the downside of DeFi, is you're on your own, unfortunately. And
inherently the things that we were trying to go over during the course of these last 2 days, and just blasting our brains trying to figure out every which way we can possibly screw this individual over who has our money. We are essentially at where we're at, but we still have guys looking into it, working on it, and if there's a way and we find it, that is probably something we won't share with you guys, because if he happens to be in this community and we find a way to screw him, we don't want him to be able to defend it.
Yeah. Not going to give him room to navigate around us, because they clearly know what they're doing. And it feels like such a cop out to say, like, oh, we were just unlucky. But looking at it, it doesn't feel like a targeted attack. We got hit with a widespread attack because we weren't quick enough. That's our lesson learned. We will rebuild, we will recover. In the meantime, you guys have this information. There's likely to be a large dump 5 days from now. Do with this information what you will. We aren't going to hold it against anybody. And, like I said, at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to you guys as our holders and as our community to provide information, and to keep you all as informed as we possibly can. Because we have your best interests in mind, because, the best interests of the community are our best interests. It's who we're building for. There's zero point in us funding this exchange and doing all this work for a community that, isn't there anymore because we lied to them. So
Exactly. And we won't. Even now, I mean, it's a clear statement in saying that, right? We're in a shit situation that could potentially, hurt the project in a lot of ways, especially the images that are our own personal image that we use. But we're not going to ever let anything break the honesty, no matter what. We'll tell you the good news, we'll tell you the bad news, and everything else in between.
we'll tell you when we fuck up.
Yes. I have
Which,
no problem getting out in front of every single one of you, and say whatever just happened is there's no excuse for it. It's our fault, but the action plan is being built. We have a lot of it in place, and we're just gonna keep going.
Yep. And like I said, I just thank our lucky stars that, again, no community tokens were caught up in this. The liquidity pool wasn't formed by community investment. This is relevant for people who are new. This is relevant because the Bitmart liquidity was part paid for by the people in our community who have that shareholder role. So thank goodness that this one was out of pocket by the company and can be restored as such. And I think, I mentioned it at the start, we still need to go away and discuss it. Obviously, the situation's changing as we go because, look, we're just assuming they're going to dump in 5 days. Who knows what they're going to actually do? It's just what we expect based on, what 99% of scammers do. But we are hoping to give you guys a respite from the buy tax for at least a couple of days after we reform that liquidity pool, so that we can give people an opportunity. I know it's a barrier to entry for a lot of people. Should prop up the price again, and help us rebuild. And really, we just have to go from there.
While we have more people in here than we started with, I do want to point out that understand that this scammer on ShibaSwap has access to that liquidity. So if you are going to sell, do not do it over on ShibaSwap. Stick to the Uniswap side, because essentially all you're doing is putting more KTO in this guy's hands, whoever it may be. We don't want to do that, because at the end of it all, yeah, sure, he has the ETH, but the last thing we want him to do is have more KTO, and that's what I'm assuming he would expect after all of this coming out. So stay away from ShibaSwap with selling. Whatever you decide to do, just don't do that.
Yep. SaberDucks will probably incorporate it into our marketing materials and put it out there, along with a lot of safety messages as well. We're also planning to warn fellow communities, particularly projects that are small like us, about this attack that's going on, especially once we have a bit more information about how it really works. Look, like I said, we're not running away from this. We're owning it. And
I'm running at it, just so you know.
Yeah. Swimming in it right now.
Yep. And I do want to repeat this because there is more people in here. Understand that it's your KTO is safe. You are safe. Yes, the price has been impacted. We understand that. We're putting in action plans to correct that as much as possible. Running events, so on and so forth, where it allows easier entry. But when it comes to your KTO, what you've ever decided to do with it, whether it be staking or just, turning profit, so on and so forth, it's not damaged in any way. This hit is directly on the company. And, one that we are in a position to recover from. So, yeah.
Mm. Also, apparently Mike's been trying to talk this entire time, and we've been talking over him because I don't know, he's not muted, but we can't hear him. So sorry about that, Mike.
Mike, try to disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah.
And throw away your Apple product.
Um,
Put
I
that aside.
mean, we're bringing this to you quite literally live. So, like we haven't posted on social media yet because we wanted to bring it to everybody first. This is also recorded. So there's absolutely the intention of getting this message out on social media as well, outside of Discord. There's no two ways about that. We're not keeping it just to Discord only. This is just where we hold our AMAs. This is our platform. So, yeah, like absolutely in the spirit of transparency and reaching, getting that message to as many of our holders as possible. We're going to, gosh, Artie, that was loud. Yeah, we're going to be posting that. That's a given. But yeah, we'll take some questions, obviously, from you guys. Again, Nappers and I have our all things KTO. Sorry, guys, it's like 2 a.m. for me. A little bit, my brain's slowing down now. We have our all things KTO later today in about 8 hours or so. So, I understand this is a lot to digest. Many of you will probably not have questions right now. And then 3 hours from now, you'll be like, oh, why didn't I ask that? Obviously, we do want to discuss positive things as well, but please feel free to come to that with questions. The devs are going to try and be there as well. So as you guys are used to, like it's as simple as just tagging them or asking a question in the Q&A. We're all here for you. We're not going anywhere.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there you go. Grandpa's question got answered, but just for the purposes of the recording, yeah, the attack wasn't only on KTO. It's a massive, large-scale attack that's affected multiple wallets at different points in time, potentially multiple other projects as well. We have no way of knowing at this point. Like, I think I said to somebody else, but just before, the time we've spent in the last 2.5 days has been investigating what happened to us. We haven't really had the capacity to look into other projects being affected, but definitely information we'll be sharing. Yeah. Attacks and double reflection of holders in 5 days. Yeah, that would be nice. IQ. We'll have to see what actually happens in 5 days, but it's definitely on the cards. We don't want, like I said, we want to mitigate the harm to the community and the price action as much as possible. So whatever tools we have at our disposal, we'll be using them.
Sorry, I got booted there for a minute.
Oh, that's okay. I was just alone with my thoughts. But yeah, as I said, feel free to. You guys can request to speak or just pop your questions in the chat. And I hope we've given you guys an answer that's acceptable in what is really an unacceptable situation. It's never been our, like I said, it's never been in our interest to withhold information. We're trying to present this to you guys as, in a way where you can have as much information as possible to make decisions.
Yeah. We'll have the information out film. The particular type of attack has been identified. We have dug into it. We know it's an Autobot contract that uses several wallets. There's some things we're curious about how it mimics very closely with other wallets. Like we said, it is a very intelligent attack. Not one that you could just easily spot, in my opinion. We've had some of the best looking into it right now, and they were even shocked to see how it's mimicking wallets. But we'll post that information. This way you guys know what to look out for. That's super important to us too. If you see anything in your particular, hot wallets that is showing up as a zero balance transaction, I highly suggest you burn that wallet. And more so get yourself on Ledger, because it just adds that window of security. I know that I preach it all the time. Hell, at this point, I should probably work for them. But yeah, get a Ledger.
Mm.
Poor Mike, he is still trying to
I know.
work his way in here. He's like in and out.
I'll make Mike no Mike. Hey Nappers, did you have a question?
Oh. Yeah, just a quick heads up, because I'm just watching in general chat a little bit. So, kind of some of the questions around the spoofing and all of that. If you're digging, and we have multiple people digging into Etherscan to look at it, what's really extremely difficult to actually see is where any of the actual approvals occur, or where any interactions have actually taken place on the wallet side, which is leading to a significant amount of complexity in trying to see how this, you've probably heard terms like dust tokens, things like that, how this actually gained approval. And we've been able to identify at least the contract, where in the coding it actually sets approvals and things like that is the extremely challenging portion. So it's when people are asking kind of why and how, that's the level of scrutiny that we're trying to look into to find.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean. Like, we could have taken a week to really dive in and find out exactly, pinpoint what happened. But by that point, the dump would have happened. You guys wouldn't have been informed. It just couldn't be that way.
Yeah, a couple of things just for community safety standpoint is, if you look into your wallets, just to be out, there's basically fake tokens that are labeled as USDT, fake tokens that are labeled as ETH. But they come up with not the traditional logos. So when you're looking at dust tokens and things like that, that is some of the things. And just diving into it, we're talking literally hundreds of transactions in a single contract. So this is a huge attack on the DeFi space. Whether or not communities are aware that they have potential liquidity pools that are compromised is unknown, but we are 100% not alone in this.
There's thousands of wallets in the victims there.
Yeah, it's just going through the actual contract code is insane. It's pages and pages and pages of wallets.
You can understand why we've spent the time we have just getting to the bottom of like what actually happened. It's it's not easy. I know probably not the time for jokes, but I did make the joke earlier that I don't think anybody on our immediate team has the Solidity know-how to even comprehend how to do this. So there's just like zero chance that it's internal, that's for sure. Just seeing the complexity and the spider webbing of this entire attack is just so beyond the scope of what any of us are capable of.
Mr. Hull, I want to answer your question. The lesson learned here is that no matter how busy we do get, no matter what we find most important or least important, is security is out there to get us all, and it absolutely needs to be one of the biggest focuses, above all. Even if it means bringing somebody on who is strictly focused on making sure we are secure on every aspect so we can focus on the build. But until that moment comes, there's not going to be a word said before we ask ourselves, okay, are we secure?
Absolutely. And yeah, and also, no matter how much time you think you have or how safe you think you are always potentially exposing yourself to vulnerability. And as I said in the chat just then, lesson learned, have your ledger ready to go before you set up the liquidity pool, because even if you think it will arrive in a reasonable amount of time, it can happen in an instant.
Yeah.
So
That's I
yeah.
understand all the security. That's the piece that I'm trying to kind of clarify. We're still looking for where the approval occurred and
Yeah, correct.
where the interaction occurred, right? So even if you have it on the ledger, you're still trying. You still have to approve it. Like, this could have been not approved, and this is not. I don't know where it was held. I literally just found out about this morning. So it's all of that history is, we can't find where is actually approved and said, okay, you can transfer this token. That's how sophisticated this is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just, yeah, it's a lot. It really is. Weighs heavily on the noggin.
Yeah, it's been a back and forth struggle for the last couple of days. I mean, I am Etherscan savvy. I definitely know how to dig into things deeper than I did 2 years ago. But everything that I looked into with this particular wallet, it was just me saying afterwards, okay, we need to really reach out and see, somebody who can look into this deeper, and we've done that. Is it going to change anything? No. I mean, they have access. We understand that, but at the same time, the more educated we become, is the more educated we can also make everyone else in our community become it, and that speaks for something. Is we want to be on that level of, look at the space. Crypto is ever growing. New things are coming out every day. Something like this is personally something I've never seen, and we also have very intelligent people looking into it, and it has shocked them in ways as well, which that kind of speaks for it. It doesn't change anything, but it just lets you know, no matter what you do, I mean, be as secure as you can, whatever it takes, because even if you have somebody watching closely, and we're taking every step, you just don't know what's going to happen. And it sucks. It does suck, but there's nothing we can't recover from in time. Just be safe along the way, please.
Yep. So yeah, as I said, we don't want to take up too much of your time. It's already been, close to an hour. Every time I think it won't be a long one, it is. Zygmunt, he's trying. Mike, just, I don't know. Maybe Mike, maybe you can go into the general chat later or after this and share your 2 cents, because unfortunately it's just not working. I don't know why. He's a speaker. He's tried different devices. He's just to be silenced. Yeah, or just write your thoughts. But yeah, thank you all so much for taking the time on, like I said, short notice to be here and to listen. Thank you all for the support as well. I expect anger, I expect frustration, and I expect criticism because we deserve it. But the support has been better than I expected. You guys have been very kind, considering. So thank you. And just a reminder, please be respectful of one another. You're all going to have differing opinions. It's a tense moment. This doesn't mean you throw away your sense of decency. So, like I said, be kind to one another, please. We're all part of the same community. And the team have dealt with enough right now. Don't make the moderators need to step in. Yeah.
Our core values is stand with you. I agree with Queenie. You guys have been more than awesome in this in understanding, and I'm sure you're going to have thousands of questions after you get off. We're here to answer them. We have been since we've taken over, and that we have no intention of stopping that. Everything that we know as we go along, you guys will know too. You know me, I always say that same phrase, once we know, you'll know. So yeah, let's just keep building, keep being the community that I know you guys are. And trust me, you guys are awesome. I've watched this thing grow from a very minute amount of holders to what we have now, and I know it's not huge, but we are strong. Even for being smaller, we are definitely still the type of individuals who, we're smart. We have a lot of talent within this community and a lot of very understanding people. We don't take that in vain. We respect you guys just as much as we respect one another. And yeah, back to the builds. It's going to be a bumpy road, but we're going to figure it out.
Yep. And yeah, Lord knows when that dip comes. I'm sure there's plenty of us waiting with the chips ready to scoop it up. So
guys,
Just
I'm going to
like
be at work. Don't buy all my
Looking-
dip, okay?
looking for silver linings. Oh, knowing my luck, it'll be like 3 a.m. my time. Fantastic.
Yeah, you'll be out cold.
One last thing. I know there's a lot of people in here that had a lot of questions. The chat's been flying like crazy, especially in general. Again, Queenie and I in, what is it, Queenie, 5 hours? We'll have a community 6 hours.
It's
7
at
hours.
7:30.
It's at
7
9
hours.
for me. Like
Se-
7
7
hours now.
hours.
I don't know,
If you have questions for this, please post them in Q&A, and we can just, right, this wasn't on the docket, but obviously it's what the topic is. So later today, if you want your questions answered, we will take them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully. So just post them in there so that way we can kind of read through them.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to head off and get some sleep because it's 2 a.m. But
Yeah, I actually need to get back to work. Thank you, Queenie, very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks, community, everybody. If I don't get back to work right now, I'm gonna get fired. So, I'm gonna run as well. And we'll be around tonight. I'll actually be at the space with Queenie and Nappers, along with I believe Cram's gonna be there too, right?
yeah, because he couldn't make it until then. So
Yeah.
Yep. All good. Well, I think that's when he said hopefully. I know he was bummed he couldn't be here, but it is what it is. So yep. All good. Alrighty. So thank you guys so much. And we'll
Thanks again, guys.
we'll catch you in the Discord and at the next one of these, which hopefully will have much better news.
Yeah.
See you guys.
See ya.